Hi, I am Allie Camilletti, and you are listening to Snack Leadership. I will be talking about everything leadership, broken down into bite-sized pieces. You will hear what different leadership skills look like in organizations and how they can rise teams up or take them down. I help leaders build resilience and improve performance by bringing awareness to opportunity behaviors in my business. Spark your mindset. I provide leadership and sales coaching, as well as team building and guest speaking. My hope is for you to feel inspiration and to create a spark in your mindset. Hi everyone. Today we are talking about the leadership skill of being productive. Productive is the ability to focus energy, time, and resources on the priorities that matter most, consistently turning goals into meaningful progress while helping others stay clear, aligned, and effective. Mridu Parikh, known as the Stress Squasher, a productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and founder of Life is Organized, who has helped thousands of leaders master focus, manage their time, and create better work-life integration. Drawing from her background in relationship marketing with clients like American Express, Seagram, and Mercedes, along with her experience running a home organizing company, she brings practical and proven strategies for productivity and leadership. Mridu is the author of the Amazon bestseller Accomplish It, host of the Productivity on Purpose podcast with more than 200 episodes, and a nationally recognized speaker who has spent over 3,000 hours on stage and in coaching sessions. Her insights have been featured in Forbes, The Huffington Post, U.S. News and World Report, and The Tennessean. Mridu, I am so excited for our conversation today. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited, Allie. I can't wait to see where this goes because I know we have so much in common.
So let's start off about something you've recently learned about yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so I learned what I'm about to share through a recent experience. And I very fortunately just got to be on a TEDx stage. I just got to do my first TEDx.
Oh, fun.
And what I learned was I have been speaking for years. You said that in the intro. Thank you for that. Speaking, doing this for so long, and getting ready for that got me so far out of my comfort zone. And even though, if you asked me before that, I was like, oh, I've spoken 100 times, 200 times, no big deal. It was a completely out of body experience for me. And so what I learned was you never know your craft enough. You can always get better. You can always challenge yourself. You can always step outside the box, go to another level, do something that you haven't done before, and always have that opportunity to improve and just get better. So that was a really big learning for me because I remember going into it thinking it won't be that hard and then turning out to be one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Do you know why it was so hard?
I think there's a lot of pressure. I think with the TEDx kind of, just even the way people react or respond, they're like, oh my gosh, you're doing, the reaction it's funny because I think I've gotten on stages that I would consider kind of harder to get on. But it just the whole pressure of it. Then also the guidelines. This was actually under 12 minutes. And you are trying to do, an idea worth talking about, right? So it's something very unique and you're trying to synthesize all this uniqueness plus your story, plus, the takeaway in under 12 minutes. So again, like I said, it was a challenge. I'm so glad I did it. And, but it really taught me a lot about myself.
It's really funny that you brought this up because similar, I've spoken a lot on many different stages, different types of people. And I recently did a speaking engagement where it was scripted. And the gal, we did it, both of us. And she told me afterwards, because she was part of building the script, she said, I want to do a TED Talk. And I'm like, oh, no wonder. Because she had it dialed, memorized the whole thing.
Right.
And my 50 plus self is like, memorize anything? I don't know who does that. And I've never done that. I speak from the heart and my intuition, and I don't script. And this was scripted and it felt very uncomfortable for me. And I was like, that's it. I just do not resonate with anything that's scripted.
Yeah, I think that was exactly, you hit the nail on the head. I think as speakers, we don't script. I mean, I think that's what makes the best speakers, right? You are speaking from
Yes.
the heart and you kind of have like some outline or some points in your mind, but you're speaking. Yeah, at a TEDx, it is, or a TED, it is very much scripted. So you are memorizing. I mean, I was practicing for weeks. I must have practiced 100 times because I had to learn every word. So it's an entirely different experience. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it.
That's
Yeah.
so. What was your topic?
It was called "How to Stop Feeling Behind" or something like that, or
Ooh,
how to
yeah.
stop feeling like, oh no, I'm sorry, how to stop feeling like you didn't do enough. Goodness, I already forgot the
Yes.
name of it. Yes, how to stop feeling like you didn't do enough. Right.
Oh, that kind of summarizes, I think, the current state of our world.
Right. No matter how much you do, you always feel like I didn't do enough. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that I know has come up for me. Like, I just went to Mel Robbins spoke. And so I
Oh, so
went to
fun.
see her. Yeah. And she, at the end, she's like, I want you to dream and put down if it, money wasn't an issue and none of the other like obstacles were issues, what would you do right now? And oh
Hmm.
my gosh, I wrote the forbidden. I'd be like, I'd retire. And what was holding me back was people's judgment. Like, would my daughter still respect me if I were to retire? Because I really want to spend more focused time with her. I just feel like I can't spend enough with her right now at her
Right.
age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's not feeling like you can do enough. Like, this world is so
Hmm.
precious that we get to choose what we do in this lifetime.
100%. Yeah. And I think we forget along the way, like, we can do whatever we want with our time. We can be deliberate. We should be deliberate. We should be intentional, and we get so caught up. And I put myself in this bucket too. I'm not saying I'm beyond it, but like you said, with the judgment, the worry, the what will other people think? Or I've already made such a huge investment, whether it's in my education or the business or whatever it is, right? Like, how do I step away from that? So there's so many voices out there, like in your head, like kind of narrating that story for you. And really, you're the writer. You're like the author of your own story, and you get to be intentional about it. And I think that's great as we get, I'll say, more mature in life. You get
Yes.
that more, right? You can finally get there and step back from that. Whereas I think, for the first few decades of life, like that's life. Like you are taking it all in, and you do need to some level, work with everything around you. So yeah, I'm sure we could have a whole conversation on that.
Absolutely, for sure. So let's start off by talking about like when did you first embody this piece
Yeah.
of being productive? What did that
Yeah.
look like for you?
Yeah. Well, to go way back, but not to bore anyone, but I will say I was very lucky. I came from the two most organized people in the world. Like both my
Yeah.
parents are super organized. So our house was very organized, and just everything was really perfectionist level. And so I inherited a lot of those skills. However, one would think if you have that, then you're also super productive, right? And what I learned as an adult is those are two very different things. You mentioned I started my company as a professional home organizer. So that was perfect for me. I could
Yeah.
organize the closets and the garages and the pantries. But when it came to my own life behind the scenes, when I was running a business and having kids and dealing with family, I wasn't prioritizing well. I didn't feel like I was doing anything really well. I wasn't focused. Things were all over the place. Details were falling through the cracks. So I just went on a personal development route of learning this. I was like, I'm just going to learn more about focus and productivity and time management, and just really delved into it separate from the business just because I needed it personally. And
Yeah.
I'd say over time, a couple of years later, when I came out on the other side, when I was systemizing everything in our home, in my life, in my business, when I was better prioritizing, when I was delegating, using better boundaries, just so many things, I fell in love with that and realized, wait, I can't be the only person who's struggling with this. I certainly
Yes.
can't be the only entrepreneur, right? Who's juggling everything and is having a hard time. And that's when I transitioned from home organizing to productivity, kind of all around life, but really, business productivity and then your life productivity. So it's it
What
really was just a
age?
personal thing. Yeah. Oh, this was maybe 10 years ago. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was in like my 40s. Yeah. Yeah.
I I can't help but wonder too, because I notice with families, like if you grow up in a total perfectionist, it can go either
Hmm.
or.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
either become a perfectionist or you're the opposite.
Right. Right.
And so
Yeah.
you carried
For,
on those traits. And then have
for
you
sure.
also watched that people that are hyper organized, that it is actually a piece of control for them?
For sure. Yes. Definitely we can put ourselves in that control freak category, which like every other personality trait can work for you and can work against you. Right. So in many ways, it's so positive and you're always on top of things and you know where they are. But on the other side, it can be constrictive. It can be restrictive. It can be hard to make changes if you're someone like that. So hard to be adaptable. So I think with everything, it's kind of finding the right balance that works for you, your dynamics, your family, your teams. It's like where you can use those strengths to your advantage.
We talked a little bit about your belief system and how you and I fall in line with that. I want to touch on a leader who is a perfectionist
Hmm.
and organized,
Okay.
and what that can do to be positive, but then sometimes what it can look like to be negative too. Can you play with that a little bit?
Sure, sure. So positive, lots of positives. Maybe they have great systems in place, the workflows. Maybe they're really on top of their calendar. Maybe meetings are moving very efficiently. Maybe they're a zero inbox person, right? So it's like that, all positive things. Yeah, right.
I zero, I have no
Negative,
idea. I feel like I'm doing
yeah.
good at 50. I'm like,
Oh, for
I can
sure,
see
for sure.
50, 50's positive.
Yeah, 100%. Again, we're talking about that perfectionist person. Um, on the negative, they could be putting those same um, values on the rest of their team or on their family, where it's putting a lot of pressure. Maybe it's causing anxiety. Maybe they're requiring perfectionism of other people. Maybe sometimes they're stalling some creativity because they're of the rigidity, right? And so maybe again that lack of being adaptable can happen. So
Yes.
yeah, like you said, there could be positives or it could be negatives to it.
So when you have worked with leaders, what do you see to be like a common theme for leaders and what they struggle with and how it affects their teams?
I'd say the number one thing that I see is a lack of focus.
Mhm.
Even when we're totally focused, even when we're like, this is my business or this is my leadership style, like we believe we're very focused. And I get it. Like I'm a business owner. I understand we have a mission, we have a vision. But below that, then there's like, here's the 8 different objectives and the different focus areas and everything I'm working on. And I'm going to improve all of this. We're going to hit this ROI number and this sales projection and improve our marketing. And I'm going to build that team and the culture, right? It's all over. And I get it because you're a leader and you have to have your mind, your hands, your brain in everything. But at the cost of that is also you can be scattered, we are overwhelmed by demands, distractions, interruptions, back to back meetings. There's no even time for strategic thinking time. So, between all of the initiatives you want to do and all of the actual distractions in your space, we can be very, very unfocused and get very scattered. And even the most kind of focused people, that like, it can happen. It's just natural. It's just how life is right now. And so I think if we can kind of get back to protecting our attention, protecting focus, and that is sort of the foundation, I think, then to everything else, to better boundaries, more effective systems, delegating, communication styles. But it really has to start with that attention to attention.
So if they don't have the attention to the attention and they're in that place that you described before, what kind of characteristics do you see come out in their team members?
I think there's typically people are feeling overwhelmed. It's impacting morale because you're feeling scattered. Then we all know, we all been there, right? We have 20 things in our to-do list. We get through maybe 6 of them that day. And then what are we thinking about when we go to bed at night? The 14 you didn't get done, right? That's the only thing that's hanging over you. And it was so unrealistic to begin with, and you were so distracted during the day that you couldn't even hit the other ones. And so really that truly impacts not just time, absolutely impacts results, but also your morale, your self-esteem, your confidence of I'm not good enough for this, or I'm always going to be behind. I can never get on top of things. And then that can disrupt team communications, morale, culture as well. So it's kind of just this like snowball effect, that slowly creeps up. It doesn't happen in a day or a week, but over time, I think it can really impact you on an individual level and then also on a team level.
So I'm coming off of just coaching a gentleman who was sharing with me that, every day he has this list and it adds to
Uh-huh.
the list all day long.
Yes. Yes.
And he said, Allie, I noticed that I leave my list on a Friday and I go home for the weekend and I don't take the list.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back on that Monday, because hospitality, nobody has ever
Yeah.
stopped working on the weekend.
Right.
His team is still working depending on their schedule. He goes, some of those things have fallen off the list. They've taken care of themselves. And I was excited. I'm like,
Right.
yes, like you're not taking that work home and you're having good boundaries of like, if it's not urgent, it can wait until
Yeah.
Monday. And then maybe somebody else took the initiative. Like you're delegating well enough that they're knowing how to do it on their own.
Yeah. 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 We so often become the crutch for other people, right? So if they know if it's a weekday and they know you're available, they could come into your office anytime. There's a higher likelihood that they're not going to figure out that problem on their own or be resourceful or find some way to figure it out when you're not there physically, mentally, emotionally, just literally not there. There's a high chance they're going to figure something out and how to move forward and take the next step. And even if they fail, at least they've tried something to take the next step so that the next time they can improve on it.
When it comes to being productive, I also notice, and something that was part of this conversation was like all of the different venues of communication anymore, right? Old
Mm-hmm.
school was like, ooh, we had a phone that was attached to the wall
Yeah.
back in the day, right?
Right.
Now we
Yes.
have cell phone, texting, we have WhatsApp, and we have email.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are in a company, then you have other modes of communication in that company as well. What are your thoughts about how you still stay productive knowing that you are constantly being bombarded with all of these different ways of communication?
Yeah. Well, like you said, we are being bombarded and it is a reality. So, if that's a reality, we have got to figure out a way then to put some parameters around that reality because it's not going anywhere. If anything, it's only going to get worse by next week or month. We're going to have some other mode of communication. So, it's really up to you, the individual, to take back control of that attention. And there's so many really simple ways, whether it's through technology, timers, apps. I mean, there's so many ways, but it's really just committing to something, increasing your awareness that I am being interrupted, I am being disrupted every 3 minutes. The research shows every 2 to 3 minutes there's a ping, a ring,
Wow.
a ding, your own thought, someone walking in, a phone call, something like that. I mean, it's so frequent that it's simple things, putting that phone on do not disturb, committing to 15 minutes with your email closed, a 25-minute focus period. There's varieties and there's no right or wrong. We got to figure out what works best for you in the environment that you're in. But it's really one, being aware, and then two, committing to something that's going to hold you back from those distractions for a little bit longer than you are today. So I would say if you can focus for 5 minutes, try to make it 10. If you're at 10, make it 15. If you're 15, make it 20. Wherever you are right now, try to increase that focus amount of time. There's no right or wrong amount, but it's more than it is today.
And then also, I want you to kind of expand on what we were touching on before of your own personal view of what being productive looks like.
Yeah. So look at it a little bit differently. I think for a long time, productivity was get more done in less time, right? It was like do, 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 do. And then it was really just focus. It was focus, 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 which I think is great. Still think it's great. But now I think there is like an emotional trigger, an emotional pull to productivity. And if we view it that way, or if we kind of think about it that way, it will guide us as to what makes us feel productive at the end of the day. So for me, productivity is an emotion you feel when you get the results you want. So as
Hmm.
I mentioned before, maybe it's again, you had that to-do list. And if all you're thinking about is everything you didn't get done, well, that doesn't feel good. No one feels
No.
inspired or motivated when they go to bed at night. But if you had maybe 5 things on the list that you had planned and thought through and were intentional about, and even if you only got 3 or 4 of them done, that's still like an 80% batting. Like that's you're still 80% in. Like you feel really good at the end of the day. Maybe you'll even get all 5 done. And so when you feel really good, then you feel productive, right? So it really starts with the planning. How realistic is it? How many items should I have on that to-do list? And how meaningful are those things? Are they my true priorities? Because there are days I can get one thing done, one meaningful thing done. It feels like a fantastic day. It had nothing to do with how many tasks or how long it took me. It was how meaningful and valuable that task was to me. So that's how I
I
really think about it. Yeah.
I love that. And I think everybody's different, but what comes up for me as you're talking about this is like how much downtime you need in order to be productive during that time when you're actually in it, per
Mm-hmm.
se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there any
Yeah.
data, or I'm just curious? Yeah, your thoughts on that.
Um, how much downtime you mean to have to think about the give me an example. I'm not sure if I know what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I think of the person that just constantly goes, 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 right? And they're not
Okay.
really being productive per se
Oh,
because
understood.
they're
Okay, yeah,
not
yeah.
taking that downtime for quiet, I don't care what it is, breath work, meditation. I'm like, get me out in
Right.
nature walking, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are
Got
your
it.
thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
So my thoughts are I don't know if there's no amount of time, but it's making that intentional plan in the morning. That's how I feel. I feel like before you start your day, because we all know the day just gets away from us, the emails and the distractions and the Slack messages. So if you can decide those 2 or 3 things for the day that are going to make you feel amazing when your head hits the pillow at night, and figure out where those are going to go, then you're going to have a more successful, productive day, right? Because then you'll figure out, yeah, what is it downtime? Sometimes it's as easy as I want to call my mom on my way home from work, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to be these, 1 hour walk in nature. It could be something much smaller, but it makes you feel so good. Maybe I'll finally, and I know I'm going to do a lot of email today, but if I finally address the one email that's been sitting in my inbox for 2 weeks that I'm just dreading writing, it'll only take me 10 minutes, but that would make me feel amazing. Right. And so it's not a matter of time or, the creativity around it. It's really just what makes you feel. And typically they're the things that you've been procrastinating. That's what makes you
Yeah.
feel really good. That's how you identify it. And if you knock a couple of those off, you just feel so good every day.
Yeah. It's like eat the frog.
Yes. Eat the frog. 100%.
Um, I could ask you so many questions. Okay, so as we focus a little bit more on some of the questions, I'm just curious, somebody who really has been a big influence in your life.
Um, I was thinking about this because I have so many people, but I'm gonna say my father,
Mhm.
who was an entrepreneur, extremely creative, extremely determined, always positive. But he might be the most positive, optimistic person I've ever met in my entire life. So I think that he has just really just given me such a beautiful foundation. Both my parents, but really given me such an incredible foundation.
That is awesome. All right, how about a quote that you feel really connects to this leadership skill of being productive?
Yes, one of my favorite quotes is whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. It's by Henry Ford.
Yeah, it's a great one, and it's
So
so
good.
true.
So
It's so
good,
true.
right? Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to share before we wrap up with what's your favorite snack?
Um, no, I just say go for everyone listening, pick your top 2 or 3 tasks tomorrow morning or whenever you're listening to this that are going to make you feel most successful when your head hits the pillow at night. Follow through with those first, and I guarantee you're going to feel more productive for the day.
Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite snack?
Cheese and crackers all day long, every day. I could have a charcuterie board for like dinner 4 times a week and be so happy. Yes.
I am so with you. My daughter constantly asks for the same thing, and I have a really hard
Yeah.
time telling her, no, she can't have one every day because I'm
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
can't blame you. I want one every day too.
I want one every day. Yes. So good.
Mridu, thank you so much for your time today and all of your knowledge. I'm really grateful for you.
Thank you. I'm grateful for everything you put out in the world, and it was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for tuning in to Snack Leadership. I hope you felt inspiration, motivation, and felt your mindset spark. Snack Leadership is recorded and produced by myself, Ali Camilletti, and music by Shireen Amini.